Welcome to the Menopause Stories podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tamara Beckford, founder and medical director of Truly Balanced Wellness Care. This is the space where we stop the guesswork and start the optimization. We're pulling back the curtain on that midlife hijack and giving high-achieving women the clinical roadmaps and unfiltered stories they need to reclaim their edge. Let's get into today's story. I want to open up today with a post that I saw on social media. So the lady who posted, she said, and I'm going to read this verbatim. Okay? She was like, I've reached the level of perimenopause where my pillow even annoys me. I woke up 5 a.m. with a crick in my neck. She was like, the rage I felt at that pillow was off the chart. I got online, ordered a new one, and it will be delivered today. And that old brick pillow can just deal with it because I am just done with everything lately. My tolerance of anything and everything is at an all-time low. Now, when I read that, I was laughing because I really know how she feels. And I'm pretty sure you do too. And you know what? I can not really empathize, but I've been there. Let's just be real. That pillow, the rage, ordering a new pillow because I'm just sick and tired of everything about that pillow, especially since it caused me a crick neck at that moment in time. You know how I feel, ladies. And if you've ever been in that state with anything that's an inanimate object that just get on your nerves at that point in time, you're exactly what this episode is for. Right? So we are talking about all the things. Welcome back to the Menopause Stories podcast. I'm so glad you were here because today we're going to be talking about something that so many women are experiencing in silence. And that's this intense, disproportionate, and sometimes frightening rage that shows up in perimenopause and menopause. And we're going to name it, we're going to explain it, and most importantly, we're going to give you something real to do about it. All right? Now, let me let y'all know, ladies, I wasn't going crazy. My hormones were. That's right. I thought that's your hormones. So let's name what's actually happening here. Let's start with something that might surprise you. That rage, that intense, sudden, disproportionate rage is one of the most common but least reported symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. That's right. I know we talk about mood. We use the word mood. It's a broad term, mood. But rage is one of the most common one. And it's not sadness. It's not anxiety. It's just straight rage. You know how it is. You get on my nerves. What's getting on my nerves? My computer right now because it won't work the way I want it to work. Get on my nerves. I want to just get a new one right away. It's like that rage go from 0 to 1,000,000 in 35 seconds or less, right? So women describe this in so many different ways. And after I shared this opening story in our community, the responses were like flooding in, and somebody else told another story. So this was another one that I thought was really funny, but I felt it in my bones. So this other lady said, I was doing the dishes and my pants got hooked in the cupboard handle, right? The cupboard door handle. So she's doing dishes and her pants get stuck in the cupboard door handle. She was like, you know what? I gave up doing dishes, took a shower, and I went to bed. Now, how many of you have felt that way? When you're like, I'm just so done, right? And you know what? This response is completely valid. It is valid because this is what's happening. Your estrogen, ladies, they're hormones that we often associate with fertility and femininity. It also plays a role in regulating some of those other hormones, such as the serotonin, dopamine, and the GABA. And these are our brain's feel-good hormones. These are our brain's calm down hormones. These are our stay regulated hormones and little chemicals in our brain. Those are the chemicals, the feel-good, calm down, and stay regulated chemicals in our brain. Our estrogen, she helps to regulate that. So when she goes out of whack and she starts to fluctuate up and down in perimenopause, yeah, you might just start to feel it. Because here's the thing, during perimenopause, I know we said that things were declining, but It's not declining like a slide, as we mentioned. It goes up and down, and sometimes it can go up beyond where it's supposed to be. Its normal range, it just went all the way up. And then sometimes it can go all the way down because it's just bouncing all over the place. And so your brain's entire emotional regulation system is just knocked off balance. So any tiny trigger that you used to be able to tolerate is just gonna cause a 3 alarm fire. It's gonna cause rage. It's just gonna cause get out of my face type of issues, right? Because your brain literally does not have the emotional buffer that it used to have because estrogen, she's just like all over the place. So that cupboard, that door handle, that pillow, that thing that's causing you issues, you just gonna snap. That's right. You're just gonna snap. And let me tell you this. Perimenopause rage is real. That's it. It's real. We've had it. A lot of you ladies have probably had it. And you probably started wondering, is this a character flaw? And no, it's not. And is it a mental health crisis? No, it's not. You're not going through any mental health issues. You're going through a hormonal change. And that's important for you to be able to distinguish. It's a hormonal change, right? Now that we know hormonally what's going on, let's talk about how we're going to treat it. Because when that rage happens, there's another part that happens to us women, right? So you have the rage, and then we have the after effect, which is the shame that comes with it. You lose it. You say something that's harsh. You slam that door. You go to the car. You cry. And then you become your worst critic, right? I'm a terrible this. My husband must be terrified of me. I'm a horrible mother. I don't recognize myself anymore. You're too this. I'm too that. Oh, everybody must think that I'm this. I don't understand why I keep doing that. I am terrible. I'm a horrible friend. I'm a horrible sister. You're not. You are just hormonally undersupported. That's what's going on at that time. So we're going to spend a little moment in this portion because that guilt and that shame can spiral after that rage episode. And it can actually make you feel worse. And also this dysfunction that's going on hormonally, it can make that worse. Because, all right, our stress hormones, especially cortisol, we hear about that all the time. It's further disrupted by this delicate balance to try to maintain. So you rage and then you feel ashamed, right? And then the shame spikes your cortisol. Because what? Because you're stressed out. And then the next rage episode is more likely to happen. And then you start going through this cycle. And you have not even been able to break that cycle because it's just rage, shame, rage, shame, rage, shame. So rage, shame spikes your cortisol, puts you into more rage, more shame, spikes more cortisol, up you go, right? So what I want you to take from this is really something that it's simple, but I know that it's not easy. The self-judgment that you have during this part is not helping you to heal. In fact, that internal inner critic that comes out during this time is causing part of that problem, as we just talked about, that upward spiral. So I want you to give yourself some grace and recognize that this is not a weakness. This is just something that's hormonal that's going on. And there's something that can be done about it, right? The most radical thing that you can do right now is decide that you're not broken, but this is a biological transformation and that it deserves and it needs real support. So let's go about what's actually triggering this beyond hormones. All right, so we know hormones are root cause, but there are also some specific factors that can pour gasoline on this fire. So let's name them so you can start to notice it. Boom, let's talk about sleep deprivation. Night sweats, insomnia, waking up at 3 a.m. with your heart racing. All of that is an amplifier of rage. Even women without hormonal shifts, how long can you survive with poor sleep, right? Much less if you are dealing with that and emotionally your tank is empty. What regulation is happening? None. So when you layer all that we're talking about, the sleep deprivation from all these symptoms and issues that occur during your perimenopause and your fluctuating estrogen and progesterone, is really a multiplier of effect that's happening. So when her listener, she went and she was just like, you know what, 5 a.m., I'm going to order a new pillow because this pillow got on my nerves. She was literally fighting hormonal surge. She was also fighting exhaustion. Can you imagine? You're tired and you wake up and your neck is pricked, like you can't turn around, now you're in pain. So you're pain, you're tired, you did not get good rest, and your hormones are out of whack. It's a combination. It is a combination. So when you think about that, all of that, you can see led to that. So that sleep deprivation was part of the issue that's led to her rage. Now, another thing that happens also is low progesterone. So progesterone is our common hormone. And when we think about our natural nervous systems switch to just calm things down as you enter perimenopause, progesterone is often the first hormone to decline significantly. So you can understand that the common hormone, that hormone that had you even keel, that's dropping. And therefore, anxiety spikes, sleep suffers, your ability to just let things go essentially disappear. Don't expect anything to be let go at this point in time. Everything's going to get on your nerves. So you're operating without your built-in calm hormone. And then you're wondering why things are getting on your nerves. It's not you. It's your system. The system is changing. So we talked about sleep deprivation and also the lowering of your common hormone progesterone during this point in time. Another thing, cortisol and chronic stress. Lord, wow, right? Cortisol and chronic stress. So many of us enter into perimenopause, and we are already entering on a tank of nothing. Zero gas, zero fumes, right? So if you think about it, you have been doing all these things, taking care of your family, taking care of all of these things for years. And then you have the pressure, your career, and then you're holding it all together because for the outside world, you got to hold it all together. For the sake of where you are in the company, you have to hold it all together. So your cortisol has been chronically elevated. And then this hormonal transition, bam, it decides to hit you. So your system is already up to here. And then it gets taxed with this thing that's supposed to help you, or you're supposed to be resilient towards that when you're already stressed out and you're trying to hold it all together with a thread. You can see how that small amount of friction, that crick in that neck, that pillow that just was not right at that 5 a.m., you can see how that can cause a catastrophe, right? So this episode is brought to you by Truly Balanced Wellness Care. Most high-level women are told that their lives are normal while they're struggling to lead through brain fog and fatigue. At Truly Balanced, we don't settle for not sick. We architect for peak performance. Whether you need a 30-minute hormone strategy session to audit your labs or are ready for our 3-month Jumpstart Intensive, we provide the physician-led roadmap to get you back to your best. Visit the link in the show notes or go to www.trulybalancedwc.com to secure your spot. Now, back to the conversation. When we really think about all of this, you can just see how all of this together just comes in and boom, causes things to just explode. All righty, here's another story that I thought was interesting. So you might resonate with this one. So this person wrote, I've recently had this overwhelming urge to purge everything in the house I don't want to see or use. So she said that things have been here for years and they have just found their way into my garbage because at this point in time, clutter is making me furious. And if there is no use for it, it is gone. Gone. She was like, this no longer has any use in my life. Boom, I'm putting it in the garbage. She just started to purge and clean everything out. So someone else responded that I literally want to move just so I can start over. this is just what's going on. It's just, I just lost it. Everything is just getting on my nerves and I'm looking at all these things and it's just in my space and in my way. She was like, this drawer is just overstuffed. She was like, I ended up just throwing away clothes and started saying, why do I have so many clothes? She was like, I am just so over it. So when you think about that, the pillow, the cupboard handle that's messing up my parents while all I'm trying to do is wash dishes. I'm finally feeling normal. And then this darn thing is getting on my nerve. And then this drawer is filled with all this clothes. None of this is really because these women are angry. It's all because they've been pushed beyond their limit of tolerance because of the hormonal dysregulation. So the smallest friction is really just going to break that camel's back. That's it. It really is. So I want us to give ourselves some grace during this time, ladies. Give ourselves grace because there is something that nobody wants to talk about in these medical textbooks. And is that perimenopause often alongside with some of these emotional loads, they are not really talked about in our textbook. We talk about aging parents, we got teenagers, we got empty nesters, we got relationship reckoning, career pivoting. So your rage might also be carrying some very legitimate grief and resentment that you've just never really had a safe place to put it. So you've just been holding on to all these things. You've never had really a safe place to just sit and just release. So the rage is a signal. It's not just a symptom. So it's something that we should pay attention to, both that this is a hormonally something that's going on, but it can also be emotionally something that's going on, right? A safe space for you to just release all of this. It's just, so much is going on. And yeah, the camel's back is broken. That's it. So what can you actually do? Let's talk about some solutions. Because I'm not just here to just name the problems. I want to give you some real actionable paths forward. So one, get your hormones evaluated. Not a standard like, okay, this is this for your age conversation. Like thoroughly look at them. What's going on with the estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, your cortisol, your thyroid? Dive deep into what's going on so you can understand what's going on during this perimenopause. Or if you've been battling this for 5-10 years, you might be now menopausal, right? So many women are told that their lab work might look fine, but yeah, you might be fine, as we stated, because of the fluctuation in the hormones during this season called perimenopause. Your labs might be fine the day you took that lab, but you might still be feeling like your life is falling apart. Well, having normal labs during this phase does not necessarily mean anything. You deserve better conversation. You deserve to be dived deeper into what's going on so that you can truly get optimal care, right? Optimal care is more than, your labs look good. Yeah, but I feel horrible. Let's see what's going on. So two, consider bioidentical hormone support for many women out there. Restoring your progesterone, even before addressing the estrogen, can be like life-saving. It can absolutely transform your mood, your sleep, that rage regulation. Like we said before, the progesterone is one of the first hormones that starts to dip during this perimenopausal period. So you're feeling that rage during that time, that uncontrollable rage. You know what? Your hormone might be going down. So being able to get that replaced is bioidentical, so it's similar to what your body produces, might, like we said, absolutely transform your mood, right? So this is a decision that you can talk to your doctor about, and it's worth having if you are really having all of this hormonal dysregulation and you're feeling angry and short-tempered and you just don't know why, and you're within the age range. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you. Get that support, right? The researchers show that hormonal therapy has evolved significantly, and many of the fears around it are outdated. So you can get that bioidentical hormone and get that support. Alrighty, so 3, protect your sleep like it's your job. Now, I know this sounds obvious. Protect your sleep? Girl, you ain't telling me nothing I don't know. Yeah, but let's think about it. Addressing night sweats Creating a true sleep environment, looking for support for sleep. These are not luxuries. These are interventions for a medical symptom. So you cannot regulate your emotions when you are chronically sleep deprived. It's just not possible. It's not possible. Physiologically, that is impossible. So make sure that you protect your sleep because it's one of the biggest restorers within our physiological system. So sleep is important. Go ahead and figure out how you can protect that. Alrighty, 4, build a rage first aid kit. I know this might sound funny, but yeah, build a rage first aid kit. So when you see that rage coming, you want to be able to recognize it. What's your protocol? You're just like, okay, because the rage, that's literally your sympathetic. You went from 0 to a million. So we're gonna now, what are some things that we can use to knock us out of that rage cycle? That's almost like you're going through that amygdala portion of your brain, which is the reptilian part, where it's no common sense, no empathy is kicking in. We're just going straight for the jugular. So, okay, what can we do before we get to that point? So you can do some things that can counteract that with a parasympathetic response. So cold water, you can put some cold water on your wrist. You can step outside, remove yourself from the situation. You can doing something with movement. Movement is something that usually can break that cycle when your mind is going into that rage cycle, doing something with movement. So you can have a playlist that you can listen to, dance, get that emotional support. And it can take a few seconds to break that trigger because once you get deep into that, once you let those words out, once you let the emotion, sometimes you might not be able to get those words back in and you might say some things and cause some irreparable damages. So think about what is it that's in my rage first aid kit. When I start to feel this way, I'm going to do this. Take a deep breath. Like today, I learned count to 10 before you answer, or movement. Do something, take a walk, something, listen to a song that brings you joy. Break that cycle before it really hits it. So you're not trying to be that person that never gets angry. We're not trying to be that person. You're just trying to get enough support so that you can reduce the proportion of the rage until you can get it under control. So we're not turning you into someone that's, okay, you are never angry. You're just this yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. No, we understand that there emotional regulation that happens, but the disproportionate one, we want to get that under control. And those are some ways for you to do it. Okay? And number 5, I want you to look for support, either professional or personal support. So what does that mean? So you might want to work with either a menopause informed practitioner. You want to work with a menopause doctor. You might want to work with a therapist who understands that mental health changes or hormonal changes, a coach, someone that can really support you and other women who are going through this. So you might even want to look for on community. Those you have communities such as Reddit threads, you have those who are on Facebook, there are other community, your church community or whatever religious, or even maybe those in your job might have a community of women who are there, who are just supporting each other and also getting professional help during this particular time. So you can get help from a menopause doc, a menopause nurse practitioner, or a practitioner overall. And getting all of this support is so important because connection matters. A lot of times when you're going through this, the first thing you're going to do is feel like you're the only one, right? So you're not designed to try to go through this alone. You should get some support and you should definitely make sure you know that asking for help during menopause is not weakness. It is actually the smartest thing that you can do, right? So now I know that this was a lot, but you know what? We needed to talk about it because that rage, it really comes. And sometimes it can come out of nowhere. But if this episode found you in that exact moment that you needed it, I hope that you feel seen. I hope that you feel less alone. And I hope that you hear this clarity that rage that you're feeling is real. I hope that this brings you a little bit of clarity to know that this rage is real. It's a hormonal shift that's behind this, and it also is real. The women in our community, the women who are ordering pillows at 5 a.m., the ones who are giving up washing dishes because their pants got stuck in the handle of the door, the ones who are purging their closets, these women are real. And the relief for this is possible. And guess what? The relief is also real. So you're not too far gone. You're not at your worst and will never be able to get back to who you are. You're just a woman who is in transition. And by transition, I mean that you're literally on your way to somewhere better. So you're not falling apart. You're just being transformed. If you want to understand what's actually happening in your body and get a personalized roadmap, not a generic, this is your age conversation, I would love for you to book a complimentary consultation with our team. You can do that at trulybalancedwc.com. The link is in the show notes. We are here for you, ladies. I want to thank you so much for listening to Menopause Stories podcast. And if this resonated with you, please share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. And don't forget to leave us a review. It helps so many more women find the show. So until next time, be gentle with yourselves. You are doing better than you think, ladies. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford. I'll catch you guys next time. You've been listening to the Menopause Stories podcast. If today's conversation hit home, don't let your story stay stuck in that midlife hijack. Head over to the show notes to book your strategy session and to join the movement of women redefining their power. I'm Dr. Tamara Beckford. Stay optimized, stay bold, and I'll catch you on the next episode.